Hi, this is Joseph with Sci-Fi Graveyard, hosted by the Heart of Geek. Before we get started with tonight's episode, I know things are still crazy right now. I know a lot of people are still suffering with anxiety and depression. I am one of those people. And I just want you to know that there are people who care about you. There are people that love you, whether it be a suicide prevention hotline or your best friend or your family member. Please reach out to someone and talk to them. Know these three things. You are not crazy. You are not alone, and secrets do make you sicker. So please reach out and talk to someone. Again, please, we do care about you, and we want to make sure that everyone's safe and happy and healthy moving forward. Thank you. Hi, this is Joseph, the host and creator of Sci-Fi Graveyard, as hosted by the Heart of Geek. Is there a topic that you love to talk about? Would you love to share that topic with millions of listeners around the globe? If so, then you're almost there to starting your own podcast. The only thing you need is Anchor.fm. With Anchor.fm, you can record, edit, and publish your own podcast to the Anchor site and to popular podcasting sites around the world. So what are you waiting for? If you'd like to get started, all you need to do is head to the Play Store on Android or the App Store if you have an iPhone. Start the download and get recording today. Thank you for listening to Sci-Fi Graveyard, and on to the podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sci-Fi Graveyard. Today we're going to be talking about the 1989 movie The Abyss, directed and written by James Cameron, and stars Ed Harris, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Michael Biehn, and actually the comedian, writer, actor Chris Elliott is in this movie. It's the only serious role I've ever seen him in. So I thought it was interesting, and I thought I would mention it. This movie was released on August 9th, 1989 in theaters. And all my trivia for this movie is basically all the bad shit that happened, just because I thought it was really interesting. So the movie is basically about a civilian diving team being enlisted by the U.S. Navy to search for a lost nuclear submarine and faces danger while encountering an alien aquatic species. So under the sea, you may encounter a water-based alien life form. Down where it's wetter, take it from me. So some trivia. The idea for the film came to James Cameron when he attended a science lecture about deep sea diving and liquid breathing in high school. He wrote a short story about the group of scientists in a laboratory at the bottom of the ocean on the edge of the Cayman Trench. When signs of life come from the trench, the scientists dive in one at a time, never to return or being heard of again. When the last remaining scientist follows him to find out what happened, he ends up in a depth-induced psychosis. Since filming about a group of scientists didn't seem commercial to him, he changed it to a group of blue-collar workers instead and changed the story around them. Ironically, Ghostbusters 2, 1989, a film about scientists, was one of the most successful films of its year, while The Abyss, while not a box office flop, was considered to be commercially disappointing. So, fluid breathing is actually a reality. It's oxygenated fluorocarbon fluid, and it was used in the rat fluid breathing scene. Dr. Johannes Clastra and Dr. Peter Bennett of Duke University pioneered this technique and consulted on the film, giving detailed instructions on how to prepare the fluid. The only reason for cutting to the actor's face, because the actors during the scene, the rat was inside the liquid. The rat was really inside the liquid and breathing this liquid. The only reason that they didn't keep focusing on the rats and they kept cutting to the actors was because the rats were shitting themselves from panic and anxiety as they began breathing the fluid. 5 rats were used for 5 different takes, all of whom survived and were given antibiotic shots by a vet. The rat that actually appeared in the film died of natural causes a few weeks before the film opened. According to James Cameron, the scene with the rat had to be edited out of the UK movie version because the royal veterinarian felt that it was painful for the rat. James Cameron repeatedly assures that the rats used for the take didn't suffer any harm. Although the liquid breathing was done for real during the rat submersion scene, the technique was still too experimental to be used on Ed Harris. During the film's climax, his head was actually submerged in a color, non-breathable fluid, so he had to hold his breath during each take, and the helmet had to be emptied quickly whenever he ran out of breath. He also had to wear special contact lenses to be able to see through the liquid. Even so, the chlorine burned his eyes and severely blurred his vision. The American Humane Association rated this film unacceptable because of the rat that was submerged in oxygenated liquid. In one scene, it wasn't an effect. Like I said, the rat was really subjected to the anxiety of being submerged in this liquid, where it panics and struggles and is pulled out by its tail as it expels the liquid from its lungs. So all that in camera was real, no special effects.
Well, damn.
Yeah, apparently Ed Harris reportedly punched James Cameron in the face after he kept filming while he was nearly drowning. This movie, basically all the underwater scenes are really them underwater. This was all filmed like everything that they were in the water and underneath it, like in the water, it was real. Ed Harris, during the rigorous and problematic shoot, the cast and crew began calling the film by various derogatory names, such as Son of Abyss, The Abuse, and Life's Abyss, and Then You Dive. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio reportedly suffered a physical and emotional breakdown because she was pushed so hard on the set. And Ed Harris had to pull over his car at one time while driving home because he burst into spontaneous crying. Very few scenes involve stunt people. When Bud drags Lindsey back to the rig, that's really Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio holding her breath. When the rig is being flooded and the characters are running from water, drowning behind closed doors, and dodging exploding parts of the rig, those are all actors and not stunt people.
Damn, I'm surprised with how they do most movies. It's surprising knowing that most of it was all like legit people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Director James Cameron was determined to actually film major portions of the movie underwater, like I said, as he felt the conventional way to shoot such scenes, slow motion filming on a set filled with smoke or in the ocean with stunt divers, looked unconvincing. While searching for a suitable tank for filming during pre-production, he was advised of a half-completed nuclear reactor facility in Gaffney, South Carolina. This was intended to be used as a movie studio. When Cameron was given a tour of the location, the unfinished turbine pits were suggested to serve as the tank for principal photography. However, when he saw the facility's nuclear reactor housing, he decided that this structure was ideal. It was 55 feet tall bowl and 240 feet in diameter, as it could accommodate huge sets and its walls would not be visible on screen. The reactor, designated a tank, thus became the largest, or a tank, as in the letter A, tank, not a tank. Thus became the largest underwater set in the world at 7.5 million gallons, and the turbine pit, which was used as B tank, or the second tank, for miniature special effects filming. James Cameron declared this the worst production he has ever been involved with. Sentiment shared by many of the cast. The difficulties of filming around and being underwater put a great strain on both cast and crew, further complicated by Cameron's notorious perfectionism, because I think we discussed before, James Cameron's kind of an asshole when we did Aliens. Many of them have been quoted as saying that they would never do a sequel or movie like The Abyss again. For Cameron, a director known to often collaborate with the same cast and crew members, this movie had surprisingly few people who had worked with him again, including almost the entire cast, save for Michael Biehn and composer Alan Silvestri and director of photography Michael Salomon. So James Cameron almost drowned himself during production when he was weighed down at the bottom of the giant water tank during filming. The assistant director had failed to warn him to refill his oxygen, and realizing that he was running out of air, Cameron asked for help from underwater DP, which I'm assuming is director of photography, Al Gideons. However, Gideons couldn't hear him. He was near deaf from an old diving bell accident, and no one else was nearby. Cameron quickly released his helmet harness and weights and started to swim with great speed to the surface, exhaling on the way in order to prevent, lung damage from decompression. One of the safety divers held him down and gave him a regulator, which was broken and only produced water. Cameron tried to release himself, but the diver, thinking Cameron was simply having a panic attack, held him even tighter. Cameron only survived because he punched the diver in the face and reached the surface before he passed out. The AD and the diver were both fired. They got fired for that. Yeah. During underwater filming, Ed Harris almost drowned a few times, so he almost died as well. One time while filming a scene where he had to swim without a suit at the bottom of the submerged set, and the safety diver took a very long time to hand him a breathing regulator. However, the closest call came during the descent into the abyss. Harris was wearing a helmet filled with liquid, like I mentioned earlier, and had to hold his breath while he was towed along a set. When he ran out of air, he gave the signal for oxygen, but his safety diver got hung up on a cable and could not get to him. So another crew member gave Harris a regulator, but it was upside down and caused him to suck in water. Underwater cinematography, Al Giddens saw what happened, ripped the upside down regulator out, and gave him his own in the correct orientation. Later that evening, it actually caused Ed Harris to break down and cry. I say that in a funny tone, not that it's funny that he almost died, but it's just crazy of all the people that almost died because of James Cameron's wanting to be a perfectionist.
Well, I mean, you gotta think about it too. It's like, do you think some of these movies wouldn't have been as good if he wasn't kind of a perfectionist? I'm just saying, though, this is a really good movie. I've seen it a million times. And
it probably wouldn't have been as good, but I mean, is it worth killing people? Nearly killing people?
I know, that's the double-edged sword of it. It's like, do you want him to know that people have been dying, but the movie was really good? I mean, there's all sorts of movies where they talked about that they had a troubled set. It's like, I think Poltergeist is one of them, too.
Yeah, Poltergeist.
A bunch of trouble on the set for the movie. And I don't think it's not so much. I think definitely probably one of the tougher movies are movies with water in it. Especially if you're it's like some movies now is probably a little bit easier because you could fake it, right? Like the CGI is pretty good, to a T, where you don't necessarily need to have legit water scenes, but also at the same time, it's most of that stuff's totally different than it is now.
Yeah,
compared to it was, because this was made in the 80s or something, right?
Yeah, it came out in
1989.
Yeah. So what's it called? It really shows, and definitely the aging of this movie is still good too. All the scenes and stuff, and you don't even miss a beat. How some movies aged, how we did Nightfall last time. Holy shit! But if you
Nightfall,
watch this one, all the CGI looks good still.
I think Nightfall. If they were to make a porn parody of the story, would probably be more accurate than the movie we watched.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
One last piece of trivia: crew members had to become certified divers before filming began. Ed Harris was not among them, but he had to get training in a lake nearby. And then the team playing the Navy SEALs, they actually had to get special military training before shooting. So it was a pretty crazy movie. I tried to list all the bad stuff just because I thought that was more interesting than some of the good things that happened. The CGI did hold up really well in this movie. It was one of the first movies to be where the special effects were farmed out to different houses so that different effects teams wouldn't be one effects team wouldn't be overloaded. And at the time that happened,
What the
wasn't.
heck is going on?
I'm adjusting.
Somebody's moving shit around.
I'm adjusting. The only thing I'm doing is adjusting my earbud
Oh,
because it
maybe
was falling
maybe
out.
that's why we can end up hearing stuff like
Yeah.
flopping around. Just be like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Because he the only other disappointing thing about this movie, I'll just go ahead and say as trivia, Michael Biehn dies like an hour into the movie, and he's supposed to be like he's kind of the main antagonist.
Yeah, that's
because
it was further in, but I mean the it was further in than that. But at the same time, the main point of the movie was
the aliens, but
and the ending, because this movie's old enough that I can spoil it. Remember, so the whole thing was he went down to find Big Geek. That whole part, because, and I tell you what, the one part that always gets me, and I can remember it plain as day, is the part when Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio drowns originally, and they have to bring her back. I remember that whole scene vividly, even 20 years after I last saw the movie.
Dude, I was thinking about that fucking part too. Just like earlier today.
That was
like, fuck. I just forgot how good of an actress she was to pull that shit off.
Well, she was made Marion. The interesting
what I'm saying is like, just she's criminally underrated when it comes to actresses, like in some of these movies, because she does like very good acting, and like even just like her trying to sell the whole like her drowning, and she doesn't want to drown the whole time. She's like, this is what's gonna happen, but then the whole time she's like, oh, I don't want to. And then she goes under the water and shit. Like, she's struggling the whole time. She's just like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. But then
the whole scene was brilliant. And I don't know. Even up until the point where he brings her back, because, and I take it, we're all, me and you are married, Joe, that I would do the same thing for Elaine. Yeah.
And I would do the same thing for
that. I wouldn't stop until I couldn't stop anymore. And even Elaine mentioned that in watching it. And unfortunately, she couldn't join tonight. She wanted to, but she got her second shot yesterday, and she's feeling a little bad today.
I feel you. The scene though, like the parts of the scene where Ed Harris is slapping and shouting obscenities, that was actually she wasn't in that part of the scene. That scene actually caused her to break down, and she actually stormed off set because it was so emotionally draining for her. So like the emotion in this movie was, a lot of it was real, because these people were like,
I can imagine. Out. Like I said, that whole scene was exactly how it would have went off if that actually happened. That's exactly how I would have viewed the reaction by everybody, because even the people that knew her were reacting the way people that knew somebody that had drowned would react, or that I would view them reacting. That it was very vivid in this, and that was the whole thing about this movie. It was very, that goes back to kind of what you guys were saying, or what you were talking about earlier, was that it's James Cameron. I think his need to be accurate like that with everything is part of the reason I think it went off the way it did.
He's very talented. I'm never going to say James Cameron's not talented, but sometimes I feel like he does kind of come off as an asshole, because like some of the trivia looking up into these movies, it's like, bro, like,
I get it, but at the same time, I don't know if he's made a bad movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Piranha. Yeah, he has.
It's like kind of like Michael Bay, where they've done like so many of his movies where they talk about that he's pretty relentless on set, but then you see like most of the action scenes and everything that he does pretty good action scenes, like no matter what, in any of his movies. Granted, some of them are hit or miss, but the actions usually pretty good. Like, it gets you into it, especially the Transformers movies. Even if you don't really care for most of them, the action that they do in it is actually pretty good, and it's been solid in every movie. Not saying all the movies have been good, but like his action is pretty like up in there. But then like everybody talks about like how he'll yell on set and be like relentless the whole time, it seems like. And it seems like there's a lot of directors that were great directors, but they're just like relentless on set, where it seems like
That kind of
what's it
I
called?
know you're bringing up.
Quentin Tarantino was talking about. They were talking about on Kill Bill's set, like where Uma Thurman got into an actual car wreck while she was doing one of the scenes in, I think, the second Kill Bill movie. So I mean, I think it just depends on like their drive to put out the best product that they can, I guess.
Well, I mean, when you look at his record, right, and I think he came on for Piranha because the original director quit, but he was the special effects guy for Piranha, but he was kind of put into the thing. But he directed Piranha 2, but then after that, it was the Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss, Terminator 2, True Lies, Titanic, Ghosts of the Abyss, Aliens of the Deep, and Avatar. I mean, the dude has not made... It's not. I mean, out of all those,
the last two before
Ghosts of the Abyss and Aliens of the Deep, I think they were like documentaries that he did about ships.
It must be.
One was about ships, and one was about just shit down in the, almost kind of like what Abyss was about, I would say. But it was a documentary that went with NASA. He did it for Disney. It's probably on Disney Plus right now, but I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
most
like
his movies are great anyway.
I'm not saying he's a bad director. He kind of comes off as kind of an asshole.
Well, that's why I'm saying that it depends on his craft, right? Like if he actually gives a shit, and that's why it seems like it's a little bit different. Is that they're kind of an asshole because they're trying to do the best version of a movie. Like they don't want to put out a shit movie. Really.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I could say that Elaine doesn't like Tom Cruise, and there's a lot of people that don't like Tom Cruise. But I was mentioning to her, how many movies has Tom Cruise made that are actually bad movies? There's not many. I mean, as many movies as he's been in, most of them are good movies. So he knows how to either act and perform in the movies he's in, or he knows how to pick movies that he's in. And
probably a little bit of both.
I would venture to say it's the second one, though, because, well, for one thing, the Mission Impossible movies, I think he kind of produces those.
Yeah, he kind of babied them, I think, after the first one. They became like his thing.
I think after the second one, I think it became his thing. Because I think the second one was the one where he started doing all his own stunts. I don't think he did them during the first Mission Impossible movie.
You may not like him, but when you read about the stunts he does.
Yeah, like how he freaking broke his ankle during what was it?
When he jumped that wall, and he kept going.
Broke his ankle and he kept going, and you could see it on film, like him hobbling around like it fucking hurt. And I'm sure it fucking hurt, and he's still trying to sell it off, and that's why
we did something in this latest movie too. But anyways, I was just pointing out that there's certain people that I think it's just their mentality, and I kind of equate James Cameron with his douchiness the kind of way that Tom Cruise is seen the same kind of way. Because
I'm sure probably
if you hear about Tom Cruise,
is in the same boat.
Well,
too.
Most of those guys that are up there, I think they have to be. Otherwise, there's no way you get what you want without being a dick. I don't mean to say that, but it's like when you're the director of a movie, if the actors aren't listening or they're not doing what you want them to do, it's kind of your movie, and it's all on you when it's shit. So it's like, you're either good or bad, right? So it's like, which way do you go with it?
It's kind of like how the Fantastic Four dude, the most recent one, how he was like, oh
Fan Four Stick.
Where he was getting blowback. He wanted to do a different film, and same with like a bunch of other ones where there were shit movies. Even though that I like some shit movies though, but like they would sit there and blame other people, and it's like when you have to have that mentality where you're filming a movie and shit, you kind of have to be a dick, because like otherwise, I mean, it goes with real life too. It's like
or if you're a dick and you make a shit movie, you have to take responsibility for making a shit movie.
Too, I mean, that goes both ways rather than being.
It'd be different if this guy was a douche. Like James Cameron was a douche and his movie sucked. That would then you'd go, well, why is he being a dick? Well, but with him,
that's Uwe Boll right there.
Like,
Uwe Boll.
That's a dude that shits on you for whatever movie that he's doing, right? He does a movie where it's a video game movie, doesn't do anything related towards the video game, and then he'll sit there and like people shit on it, and then he'll be like, it's your fault. It's like, no, bitch, it's your fault. You're the director. You made up. And like most of the movies that he did, he wrote the screenplay and all that shit. And he would do lower budget films where he made they made the story. They probably had to pay for the licensing to be able to make the movie.
Well, of course they have to pay for the licensing to do the game.
But, like, that's probably where he put most of his damn money, because he never did like a fucking good film. I mean, House of the Dead for me,
Uwe Boll,
movie just because of how shit the movie is.
he did one good movie, but I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, House of the Dead was the only one that I thought was funny.
Oh, UWE,
to be shit. But then Afraid of the Dark, it wasn't even anything to do with like the game.
The one with Christian Slater in it.
I'm telling you, we could do a whole podcast where it's us shitting on Uwe Boll movies, and then he would come out with a fucking video where he goes on Twitter or YouTube and bitches about people shitting on his movies. I'm like, dude,
is that all he does is makes game movies?
He will.
He did.
Like most of his movies are like, he did the Postal.
Because it looks like movie, Blood Rain,
and then he did Blood Rain.
He did. Yeah, he did the Blood Rain movies, and they bombed at the box office. Like,
yeah, all of them did.
I didn't know Far Cry was even made into a movie.
Yeah. And then I think he did the 13 one too. Either that or that was just a show. I thought.
Well, in the Name of the King was.
Yeah, he did the Name of the King series. Like he's like made a bunch of shit movies, and then people shit on him.
And then he sits there and he's like, "Okay, so this is the last thing I'll mention about Uwe Boll, which is fucking hilarious." He made a Kickstarter a few years ago about one of his latest movies that he wanted to make. No one gave him money. They were like, don't do the movie. Just don't. And then he got on a video and he's like, you guys don't deserve a movie, and pretty much like was bitching to people because they didn't give him any money. And I was like,
well, why would they? I mean, if you look at how much money his movies make.
Especially if there's games that you love, like if you made a Silent Hill movie or like a fucking Resident Evil.
Did he do?
And you
did he do nothing. Silent Hill?
No, like there was like the dude that did Silent Hill actually trying to like do a good Silent Hill movie.
That movie I actually didn't like. Good, if I remember,
sad part is I didn't like Silent Hill because she got the mega unhappy ending. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, it works with the games. So all the games are depressing.
So yeah, looking at this dude's stats, House of the Dead, the budget was $12.5 million.
Yeah,
it bombed. And then the next one, Ray was
budget
was like made
20,
for TV.
Was 20 million. It made 5. Blood Rain was budgeted for 25, made 2. In
The only thing I liked it.
In the
I
Name
never
of the
saw.
King was $60 million budget and it made 10 million.
How the hell did he end up getting $60 million for that?
But how did he?
Movie?
Yeah, how did he make? Well, how did they allow him to make more and more movies if he doesn't make any money?
He actually would buy the rights to he would get the stuff for it, the rights, but he was making the movies in Europe where there was like these huge discounts, like tax incentives and stuff like that. But they did away with that, so that's another reason why he's kind of like fell off the face of the earth, because now he can't make movies in Europe really cheap.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is we could talk about all day about like how trash Uwe Boll's movies are, right? I just think it's hilarious how he's like, dude, nobody wanted to pay for my Kickstarter. You guys are assholes, and that's the.
This is how this conversation started. James Cameron's kind of a dick. You know who's a dick? Uwe Boll is a dick.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. He's kind of a dick on the other side of the spectrum, right? Uwe Boll's probably a massive dick, and then he just makes shitty movies. So it's like no excuses. It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, I would agree.
But James Cameron actually does really good movies. Like he did Terminator 2, right?
Yeah.
James Cameron, yeah, he did. He did the first
films ever made is Terminator 2.
Well,
he did the first. So he did the first 2 Terminators.
But not only that, remember Titanic was the highest grossing film until Avatar beat it,
which is also James Cameron.
And then Endgame beat it, and now Avatar took it back because they re-released it overseas or something like that. So now it's back in number 1 again.
Yeah, I don't remember what. Yeah, something else beat it, and then they probably a Star Wars movie.
It was re-released.
Avengers Endgame. Yeah, Avengers Endgame beat it, and then they re-released it. I think for the 20th anniversary, or it came out in 2009, so 10th anniversary or something maybe, overseas, and it took it back over again. It's made $2.8 billion.
The only thing I will say this:
he's gonna be making 5 more.
Yeah.
This is my thing about Avatar. I really didn't like Avatar.
Oh, I loved Avatar. And when we get to the end, this is exactly one of the things I want to point out. So when we get to the end of this one, are we doing the rest in peace and all that stuff for this one?
Yeah, we'll do it for this one. I thought the movie was okay, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't gush over this movie.
Which one? Abyss, or are you talking about
The
Avatar?
Abyss?
Okay.
The Abyss. But I remember watching it as a kid on TV. Like I remember the alien face and stuff like that. I remember like that stuff right there. And then Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, she was Maid Marian and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So that's how I knew her.
Oh, what I remember is seeing her boobs because I was young. Well, I was 12 when this movie came out. Yeah. So that was one of the first movies I probably saw, like movies where they showed where I was able to see. Yeah.
I must have been looking away. I didn't see nudity in this movie.
Well, yeah, it was mostly because when she
shirt off when she was drowning.
Yeah.
When she drowned, they do the defibrillator. They ripped the shirt off, and she's not wearing a bra underneath. And so, anyways, so that's like I said before, I vividly remember that scene, and that's part of the reasons I remember it. But the biggest thing is the emotion that was involved in the entire thing. I still remember when she told him, "You need to wear the helmet because you can swim me back. I'll just go into hypothermic shock and, you can bring me back." But then knowing she had to deal with that, the whole scene when the thing up, it's exactly how it would happen. And she gripped him and then her hands let go. Like that was when she died. It was like, holy crap. And then even later on when he does the liquid, Ed Harris does the liquid thing. Every time they did that stuff, how accurate it looked, like how you would react if you had to start doing that again, because anyhow, I love this movie.
Yeah, to me, like I loved the movie. If it was on cable, I would probably leave it on and just watch it. Still, like it's not one of my favorite movies. Like if I would have to say, like probably James Cameron top tier, it's probably Terminator 2. That's number one for me.
I'd say Terminator 2 and Aliens for James Cameron.
Yeah, it's like Terminator 2 and then Aliens, but then it's like Avatar's up there. Mostly why I like the Avatar though is mostly because it is like Dancing with Wolves but with aliens.
With
you know what though? If
Pocahontas.
Did you guys see it in 3D?
Yeah.
What? No, I didn't.
That was the way to watch that movie.
Yeah, like
3D was the way to watch it because that's when you realize the way it was filmed. It was filmed to be in 3D. Yeah. Because the scenes when you would look over the cliff, you felt like you were up in the air. It freaked me out. And it's the only movie really to do that. And that's why I became enthralled with 3D stuff, was because of that movie. I mean, I bought a 3D TV because of it at the time, and I still have one. And I have the 3D version sitting on my shelf over there.
And then it's still like the same thing when they even have the Avatar ride at Disney.
Actually, I do want to go on. I do want to go on Flight of Passage.
Like it reminded me so much of like the movie. Holy shit!
Well, you ride the Navi.
It was like it was 3D.
It was brilliant. I mean, best ride we rode there. When we went.
Yeah. I would say that and the Haggard ride when we were at Universal.
Well, those two were the top, but yeah, the Avatar one was easily the best at the time. Now I heard the new Star Wars one beats anything, but
it's probably Rise of the Resistance because
that's why I said the new one.
Yeah,
the Millennium Falcon one was kind of lame.
Yeah, it was all right. It was fun, but it was
very confusing. You would have to ride it a couple of times for you to fully like get the because when we were doing it, it was like all over the place. It was so like doing the gun thing was kind of difficult, trying to aim it to shoot shit. But like, it was fun doing it with everybody because it's like a 6 person thing or whatever. But I'm like, other than that, it was like meh.
But I've heard,
Rise of the Resistance was definitely
Rise of the Resistance. I heard is pretty awesome.
I haven't done that one because it wasn't built. It wasn't finished yet. When I
think Steven's done it.
Steven's done it.
Yeah, because I think he was just recently there. But yeah. Anyway, I would definitely say.
I know we didn't really talk about this movie, but I don't know if there's a lot to say that probably hasn't already been said.
It's mostly highly recommend if you like fucking emotional movies where you could get sunk into people, like the story and stuff like that. The story is great. Like the ending is cool too. It kind of reminds me of Close Encounters a little bit, just because they're dealing with aliens. But like, I think mostly why, because they were doing everything practically in it. I think that's what sold it for like you feeling the emotion more in this movie is because of how it was kind of real with everybody. But I definitely recommend it. I don't know if I would want to reboot it, but like, I mean, definitely having like a sequel. If they did a sequel to this movie, that would be fucking dope. Like years later, and like, because I don't think Ed Harris and shit are still alive, right?
They are.
Ed Harris
he's 70
is still,
old. He's 70 years old.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in this movie is dead. I think they're all.
There's one. I think the one dude. I can't think of his name. He was the kind of chubby dude on the ship. We're wearing the orange tank top. I think he died, but everybody else is alive.
Well, I'm just thinking printing money, especially if James Cameron came back to do it. I mean, they don't have to have James Cameron do it, but like if
he would want to.
Well, I think he's going to be busy with Avatar, right? So that's why I would I would think that they would get somebody else to do it. But like if they had Ed Harris and Maid Marian come back, at least have them two come back, and it was like a continuation of like the alien story with like the kids taking over type of thing. That would be fucking dope. I definitely don't think that they should remake it or reboot it. I definitely think that it should just get like a sequel if they're going to do anything, because I think it just works well enough alone.
I say if I were to like, I wasn't blown away by this movie, but I didn't hate this movie. It's a good film. Obviously, James Cameron knows what he's doing behind the camera, and he's a good writer. I would say probably that this movie should rest in peace. No, I don't think there should be a sequel. I don't think it should be remade. I think it should just stay as it is. To be honest with you, that would be, I think, would work best for it.
Was this your first time watching it, or have you watched it a few times before this?
I watched it like when
you said it already or not.
I remember watching it back in the day on TV back in the 90s, but I didn't remember a lot of it. I remember like Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was in it. I remember the alien face appearing out of the water, which was very like practical CGI and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, my point of view probably would be a little bit different, just because I think I was like only like 5 when this movie came out, like 4 or 5. So I mean, watching it then and then watching it a bunch of times, I just remember it so well. So then when I watch it now, it's like a lot of movies like that for me, where I watched it so young and I watched it so often because I liked it a lot, that I kept it's kept the same momentum type of thing. So even if I watch it now, it'll still hit the same beats that when I was younger on. So I mean, like, if you didn't watch it nearly as much, then you're not like blown away or like been like. I still don't think that it's like my favorite one, but I mean, still, it's good for what it is. But yeah,
it's a good movie, but I don't think it should be remade. I think if they remake it, everything would be CGI and it'd be CGI up the ass.
Yeah, it wouldn't be as good.
It wouldn't be as good.
Like if they added like a sequel to it, it would probably add a little bit better to it, but it could just perfectly be on its own too. Like they don't absolutely need a sequel to it. I was just saying, like, it would be cool if they did.
I think the funniest thing to me though in this movie was Chris Elliott. Because I've only seen him as a comedian, so seeing him in something where he's like playing a serious officer on board because these guys are like oil tankers, and so seeing that made me laugh. It was a good movie. It's not my favorite James Cameron movie, to be honest with you. Like I didn't just like foam at the mouth being able to watch this. I would say Terminator 2 is probably my favorite, along with Aliens. Probably Aliens a little bit more than Terminator 2. But it's kind of hard because both of those are so good, and they're like the rare time a sequel is like way better than the original. So that's not even, knocking the originals. The originals are brilliant, and it's just that it's rare for a sequel to be as good as the original, if not better. So I would say it's a great film. I know I didn't talk much about it because it's not my favorite James Cameron film. At the end of the day, I thought it was okay, but I think okay James Cameron is still way above good for other filmmakers, to be honest with you. So that's where I say that. What are your final thoughts, Jeremy?
Well, I would it should rest in peace, but what I would have been interested in, as I kind of alluded to it with Avatar, was I think this movie would have been interesting in a 3DS, because being in the water and being to see this stuff kind of, when the would flutter through the water, right, when the thing was in the middle in 3D, seeing it like flutter around your face and shit. I think knowing the way he did 3D with Avatar and even Titanic, because I have the 3D version of that too, he knows how to use it.
I actually want, because it was all about depth.
Yeah,
for his 3D.
And within the water aspect, it would have been interesting to see it. That's the only thing. If they were to do anything with this movie, if they were able to develop a 3D version of it, it would be interesting to see how that would look. But other than that, but I love the movie. I like I said, it's not my favorite James Cameron movie either, but it's near the top. I mean, but he makes so many good ones. It's kind of like, well, near the top is better than most.
Yeah, so. Like I said, his okay to me is better than most people's good. Like,
yeah,
and that's just my personal opinion. You know, everyone has their own.
And that's the same for me. But yeah, Chris Elliott is funny. The one thing I mentioned when I first started, because I forgot he was in this. But he's in one of our favorite, or one of Elaine's favorite shows, Schitt's Creek. You know, and his name's Roland Shit. You know, so it's just and he's hilarious. So it's funny in comparison watching him here, where he didn't even have a funny like. That he made.
Yeah, everything he said was like straight. Because like I remember him from this show that used to be on Fox, and I can't remember the name of the show because it didn't last very long. And the only episode I remember is he became a health inspector, and so as a health inspector, he started taking bribes from restaurants, and so they would bribe him with like $5 bills. So he would like acting like he was rich because the restaurant gave him $5 so they could stay open.
Which one was this guy?
He was the blonde-haired guy with the beard on the tanker. When
you've seen Schitt's Creek, right, Josh?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I was gonna look up his thing to see if I could find the show.
I'm trying to think.
I can't remember the name of it.
He's been on a lot of.
He was in the movie Cabin Boy. He was the main star of Cabin Boy.
No, you'll remember him from Scary Movie. He was the damn butler with the fucked up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was.
Where he was sick okay. And he was in Something About Mary. He played Dom. He's been in a lot of shit.
Yeah, he was in Groundhog Day, The Abyss, which is weird. So weird. I'm gonna see if I can. He was in Scary Movie 4 as well. Let's see. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Trash movie. Oh, you know what?
But he's normally in stupid shit where he plays like a dumb, fucking weird character.
Yeah, he usually plays a dumbass. He was in an episode of Duckman.
Creek too. I haven't seen him in like ages. I remember him off of Cabin Boy and shit though. God, man. Same with Groundhog Day. I remember that, but jeez. Oh, he was on Everybody Loves Raymond too. I didn't realize he was on there.
That was like the thing that got me like the biggest laugh because it was like I was like, I remember he's like being straight as an arrow, and I'm used to him being like comic relief and shit. And so to see him like play like a regular person, you know.
Oh, were you talking about Last Man on Earth that he was on?
No, he was on.
Because it shows like King of Queens and The Nanny and stuff like that. But
this was from the 90s. It was his show. Maybe it was The Naked Truth. I don't remember. I would have to do some more research than I want to do for that.
He has his own thing called FDR, a one-man show. I don't know, either that or
no. That was when he played. He was Franklin Delano Roosevelt in that.
No, it was called Get a Life.
Oh,
Get a Life.
Yeah, I don't think
was the name of the show. It only lasted for like a season and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was on Fox, so you know it didn't.
Yeah. I was just looking through his Wikipedia thing, just looking through shit. I was like, yeah, I don't remember seeing this. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it was, but that was like the biggest shock. Yeah, it's Get a Life. That's the name of the show. It was early 90s. It was like 91, 92, 1990. But
But yeah, so what?
It was a good movie.
What are we doing next anyway? Like
we're gonna do Vampirella.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. I forgot.
It's on YouTube until they take it. I mean, it's been there for a few years on YouTube, so I doubt they're gonna take it down. But
it
there is
fucking hilarious if they took it down when we were trying to watch it. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, the reason I say that I'm surprised it's still up there, it's because you know how YouTube is. But there's nudity in Vampirella. Like Vampirella herself doesn't get naked, but like one of the other there's a couple nude scenes with some of the other actresses in it, or one of the other actresses. So, which is weird because you know how YouTube would be like, oh, you know, they get their panties in the twist. You can't even go on YouTube and talk about the character ISIS from DC Comics, because if you mention ISIS, they're like, oh, you're talking about the terrorist organization, strike, strike, strike. So like the fact that nobody's like either complained or it's flown under the radar at YouTube is quite astounding.
Maybe it's different just because it's a movie. Because I think there are certain movies that they have on there that have nudity.
Yeah, but it's not officially on YouTube. Some dude just uploaded it. Like, some dude just uploaded it. I actually found a copy of it on archive.org, and I actually uploaded that to our Google Drive account, so you can watch it that way, just in case it gets pulled from YouTube. Because archive.org, y'all have ever been to archive.org?
No.
Archive.org is basically an internet site where you can upload program software, pretty much anything. I actually just recently uploaded the CD image of the backup disk from one of my laptops, because I didn't want to, like, one of my laptops I lost the backup files for, and now HP doesn't have them on their site anymore, so I'm kind of screwed without having those drivers. So I didn't want, with this Dell laptop, that laptop was an HP, but the Dell laptop, in case it happened, I wanted to make it where people could still find stuff. I actually was looking for software on there one day, and there's a lot of porn on there. I was surprised.
I'm not really surprised. There's always porn everywhere, man.
I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm looking up regular backup software, like legit software, and it's like this whole string of, and it was just one dude, because I'm like, who uploaded this? And it's the same guy. It was the same guy. The same guy uploaded all of it. I was like, what the hell?
Porn. That's the best way to put it.
But it's on archive.org, so anyone who wants to watch it, it can be found there. And YouTube, unless they decide to take it down.
Free site too, or something.
It's kind of like it's the preserve, like, you know, it's a preservation site, so it's a non-profit. Okay. It's a non-profit. So you just, like, I uploaded the iOS file from my wife's laptop. I'm gonna try to do it with my Lenovo ThinkPad, and stuff like that. So I'll probably do that with it. But it's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting to find the movie there. I was actually gonna buy the movie, but it's so hard to get.
Yeah.
It's literally, if you want to buy it on DVD, it's like $60. Like it's I guess it's out of print. It's kind of like Drop Dead Fred. Like Drop Dead Fred is like super expensive now. So.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because it's
a movie like a million times. What the hell?
Yeah, it's because it's no longer available in print. So, like, they're not making the DVDs for it anymore. So the only way to get it's on the secondhand market.
Yeah. Nice.
And people like to price gouge, but we're getting off topic again, which is what we always do on this podcast. Which, you know what, I'm actually okay with, because the reason I do this podcast is to talk about movies, and so we're talking about movies or dissing on Uwe Boll. Maybe we should do an Outside the Graveyard where we talk shit about Uwe Boll.
Well, I mean, technically, it's not really so much Outside the Graveyard thing, because most of his movies are technically
science fiction.
Sci-fi. So, I mean, it'd probably be like Uwe Boll on why you should never watch these fucking movies.
We should. Okay, after Vampirella, let's do it. We'll each pick a Uwe Boll movie. We'll each pick a different Uwe Boll movie, and we'll watch it. And then,
why we don't think you should watch the movie.
Yeah, like we're not gonna watch all three of them. Like I won't watch all three, but you watch one, Jeremy watches one, and I'll watch one, and then we'll just talk about it and how shitty it was. That's gonna be after Vampirella, so let's settle.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and you can pick whichever Uwe Boll movie you want, and we'll talk. Just let me know when you decide, so that way we can set up the trivia and stuff for it. But
nice.
And then we can talk how shitty it was. But that's after Vampirella. We'll talk about how crappy Uwe Boll is when it comes to making movies with his video game franchises. But all right, so for everyone with Sci-Fi Graveyard, this is Joseph for Jeremy and Josh. I know we didn't really talk a lot about Abyss, but I really don't think there's that much to talk about because it is actually a really good film. So there's not much.
Better for you to find out anyway. You don't want to.
Yeah, this is a movie. This is definitely a movie you should watch. Like I would never tell you not to watch this movie because it is good. It didn't blow me away just because I don't even know why, because I usually go for stuff like this. Maybe it's because when I was watching it, I got distracted. So I just kind of like, my 3D printer messed up when I was trying to watch it. So I had to like turn my attention away. But it's a good film. All the actors in it are really great. So definitely check it out. Thanks for listening as long as we rant and rave and get off subject like we do. But y'all have a wonderful night. And we will see you in 2 weeks with Vampirella. Starring Talisa Sola. Peace.
We'd like to thank you for listening to this week's episode of Sci-Fi Graveyard. If you like what you hear, please check out some of our other podcasts as hosted by the Heart of Geek. That is Morbid Instinct, Wrestling with the Willies, and Screen Creeps. You can follow us on social media. We are at The Heart of Geek on Twitter, The Heart of Geek on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And when we do stream, it's not very often. We are just Heart of Geek. Again, thank you for listening, and we hope to catch you next time.